cover question 2.2 of the XOS1511 exam paper. Okay, and because my brain is a bit rusty, I thought let me rather go back to the textbook, because it's asking here, explain the difference between the functions double num1 and double num2, and for each function give an example of a statement that calls it. Okay, and then there's the example. I've copied it and put it in my code over here. Now basically this AND or ampersand represents a reference parameter, which is what is taught in lesson 21 of the XOS 1511 textbook. This is the actual textbook page is 245, but if you've got the PDF one, then you use 251. And it says here, sometimes you want a function to change the values of variables that are declared in the main function. We want to give the function access to the variables so that it can refer to them and change their values. Okay, so now that's basically what this reference function does, is we allow it to have access to that value, and it's allowed to change it without having to supply this return word over here. Whereas this one over here, we're only able to pass a value to it. So the one is like a pass and return function that's merged as one, and then this one is a pass only function, and then you have the choice to return the results. But ultimately they both would perform the same, since if you provided the same value, you would see the same results, because the internal calculations are exactly the same, but just that this one here automatically has direct access to the variable that's being passed. Okay, and as you can see, they both want a variable type of int. Okay, so that's basically what the difference between the two is. So one is a reference parameter, and the other one is a normal parameter. And you'll see here it says all the parameters we have used so far were value parameters. So this is a value parameter and this is a reference parameter. And you can tell the difference because of this ampersand that's over there. Now what I've done is I've created the little program, because in the question it says here, and for each function give an example of a statement that calls it. Now I don't know if they trying to trick us or what, but you must remember that void you can't just use in a direct cout statement. Okay, so that's why you'll notice here I've declared a special integer variable inside of my main, and I've said that it must assign the value to this of double num1 to this int void call, because this is a void type function. Okay, whereas this one here is an int function type, and so we're passing it an int and it'll return an int. Whereas this one, we're passing it an int, and it directly in the function parameter returns an int. But when we're using the cout, we can't get it to give us that information. So what I do is then I assign it to this int void just for display purposes. But if you wanted to just declare the two, they would be basically declared by the same information. But I've asked you to enter two different numbers here, and you can so if you execute this program, we'll make the two numbers first the same, and then after that we will change it. What is it complaining about? I need to view my logs so I can see. Function that void value not ignored as it ought to be. Okay. Double num1 minus 1. Let me just take this out and just call this double num like that. Let's see what it does. Yep, there we go. Now it's happy. I'm just going to use it like that. Enter the two numbers. Okay, so I'm going to put it 10 and 10. Okay, the revised number is 43. I wonder why the revised number, because I'm using the int void instead of the double num. And I was trying to tell it to return it. Okay. I would have liked it to display it, but it says that it's not happy with something. So let me just see what happens if I re-add this back on. Yeah, still moans at me. It doesn't like us singing. Because it's an integer, it's accessing directly. Okay, let's just try to see what happens if I call this function directly. You'll see what I'm saying. When I try to access it from here, it doesn't want to give me, see there, doesn't want to give me an access. Not happy about displaying a void. Yeah, I'll need to figure out how to get it to, but normally it should work with just assigning it to a value. Or actually what I'll do is, to make it easier, I'm just going to add the C out over here. I know that it will work. That is basically how you would call it. So let's execute that. And let's make the values 10 and 10. You can see there, value is 20, the revised value of num2 is 20. And if you wanted to make sure that they are two separate numbers, add 20 and 40, and you'll see there 40 and 80. Alright, so I hope this has helped. You can see there's no difference in how you pass the parameter, but it's just more of how the parameter is actually returned to the main function. Alright, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching and good luck with the exam.